Hello everyone, my name is Melissa Bublitz, and this week we will be talking about conflict resolution. So let's jump right on in. So the first thing we need to cover is, when is conflict resolution needed? And the answer to that is pretty obvious. It's anytime someone in a group or in the project team has a problem with a decision that's being made or something that's happening. So in order to resolve this conflict, there are many different techniques you can use that will hopefully resolve the conflict in a way that makes everybody in the group happy. So the first method that we have is to accommodate them. So this would be the other members of the group are giving in to what another member of the group wants. And that's not necessarily the best option, because it leaves room for a lot of error, it leaves room for a lot of mistakes to happen, and it might not necessarily fix the problem or resolve the conflict. The second method is probably equally as bad, and it's to just avoid the conflict altogether. When you do that, there is a lack of communication between everybody in the team or in the group, and there's absolutely no resolution at all. The third option is to collaborate, and this is where the team gets together, every member contributes to finding the solution, and everybody then agrees with that individual solution. And then your fourth option is to compromise. So again, everybody in the group communicates with one another, and everyone ends up giving up something, but it leads to a resolution or a solution that is fair or seems to be fair to everybody involved. So then that leads us to our next topic, which is personal conflict resolution. So what I like to use is, I like to compromise. And in order to do that, I like to define what the issue is. I have a lot of open communication. I like to make everybody feel included in the decision and make sure that everyone has a say. And then I don't mind giving up something or giving up a part of what I think the solution should be, if it makes it so that everyone views the solution as fair and it ends up getting the job done in a timely manner. So then we get to having difficult people, or people who aren't necessarily willing to compromise or collaborate or accommodate anybody in the group, and they aren't wanting to diffuse or resolve the conflict. So we're going to have to diffuse them so that we can resolve the conflict and move on with the project. So in order to diffuse difficult people, first you need to listen to them. You need to hear them out. You need to hear what they view as the problem or why they're not willing to compromise. And then you need to address that. You need to acknowledge it. You need to make them feel heard and make them feel valid, so that they are more likely to work with you on resolving the situation. Then you need to ask them what they need to make either them succeed or the project succeed. So again, that kind of goes back to compromise. You're looking for a way to make it feel fair to them so that they're more willing to work with you. So then you need to kind of empathize and relate with them. So yeah, I hear what you're saying. I understand, which again kind of goes along with acknowledging their concerns. You need to make sure they feel heard. And then you need to educate yourself. So after you have this conversation with them, and let's say one of their issues you don't know much about, you need to go find the tools, find whatever you need, so that you can then get back to them and have a discussion and come to a conclusion that will resolve the situation. All right, so finally, let's say at the end of everything, you have tried to diffuse the difficult person. They are still not willing to compromise. They, for whatever reason, they still have a hang up. They are not willing to budge, whatever the reason may be. So what do you do? The first thing you need to do is probably listen again to their reasoning and try and figure out where you can meet them halfway. Or maybe not even halfway, maybe a quarter of the way. Just something to get them to compromise with you. If that doesn't work, then you again try to relate to them, try to explain why the compromise is needed, and have very open communication. And then if that doesn't work, you may need to bring in a third party and get a mediator, who will facilitate good faith communication between both you and the difficult person. They will be more able to get a compromise from this difficult person than maybe you will, because they are an outside party and they are able to explain things better. So at the end of the day, if a difficult person won't compromise with you, you might just have to get a third party and get a mediator to come in and help you out.